Hi everyone, I'm Mogu2. In this lesson, we will talk in detail about the shot production workflow in the Hadi project. In this project, shot production is divided into four main stages: layout, animation, CFX, and lighting. Next, let's briefly introduce the role of each stage. First is the layout stage, which is responsible for assembling all the elements in the shot, setting up the basic scene, and creating camera animations and preliminary character blocking. Second is the animation stage, which builds on top of the layout to further refine character movements and acting, bringing the performance to its final look. Third is CFX, also known as the character FX stage. It is primarily responsible for generating physics simulations for the characters, such as the dynamics of hair or the flexible effects of clothing. Finally, we have the lighting stage, which gathers all the published data from upstream departments for lighting and rendering, and ultimately outputs image sequences for the subsequent compositing phase. Next, let's take a look at how files are managed. All shot files in the project are stored under the Shots folder. Upon opening it, you will see a total of 7 folders. Among them, the Hadi 00 folder is used to store shared assets for the Hadi project, such as light rig assets or compositing templates. Meanwhile, folders from Hadi 1000 to Hadi 1100 correspond to the 6 independent shots in the film. Each shot folder contains working subfolders for each respective production stage. Since shot production involves a massive amount of data transfer, we further divide each shot folder into 2 directories, WIP and pub. WIP is used for daily production, while pub stores the organized published files dedicated to being referenced by downstream departments, which will identify and load the corresponding data based on collection naming. For publishing rules, we adopt a mechanism called the subtractive publishing mechanism. Simply put, once an element from the layout stage has its final version published, it will not be republished in the animation publish file. This approach of only publishing the necessary parts significantly reduces redundant data and keeps files highly optimized. Here, I will also clarify the naming conventions for our shots. We use the prefix Hadi, followed by numerical IDs, such as Hadi 1000, Hadi 1020, Hadi 1040, and so on. This naming convention serves 2 purposes. First, it makes it easy to insert new shots, as we leave numerical intervals between the IDs. If we need to insert a shot between 1000 and 1020 later on, we can simply name it Hadi 1010, without having to rename all the subsequent shots. Second, it simplifies management, as all shot folders are automatically sorted in numerical order, making the logical sequence of shots clear at a glance in the file system. Finally, using shot Hadi 1000 as an example, let's quickly examine the data flow across the entire production. During the layout stage, all assets are loaded into the shot file via linking. If modifications are needed, they are adjusted using library overrides. Meanwhile, the final version of this shot's environment is also published during the layout phase. Moving to the animation stage, we copy the layout project file directly, import the completed shot data from the layout phase, and then refine the character animation on top of it. The subsequent CFX phase is quite unique. Since linked assets cannot undergo simulation directly, we will make the relevant assets local, performing physics simulations for hair or cloth on these local duplicates. The final lighting stage appends the data from the animation phase as linked references, combines them with the simulation results from CFX, and then proceeds to lighting and rendering once assembly is complete. The entire production process follows a core principle: the principle of minimal duplication. That is, if data can be reused via linking or library overrides, we absolutely do not create redundant copies. This not only ensures that downstream files always sync with upstream modifications, but also significantly saves storage space, boosting the speed of opening and saving files. Now that we understand the overall pipeline and conventions in the next lesson, we will demonstrate the creation of our first shot task, the layout. See you in the next lesson.